Donald Trump doesn't want you to fact check his economic claims. Donald Trump and the administration don't want you independently informing yourself about what it is that is truly going on in this economy. Because if you did, you would know that he is lying to you. So we are going to go through the specific economic claims that Donald Trump made in this deranged address to the nation last night, which served only to remind people this guy is incompetent. So we're going to look at those specific claims, including this first one, because it's a good one to debunk. Trump says inflation, when he took over, was the worst in 48 years.
Good evening, America. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country.
Inflation has essentially been bouncing between 2.5% and 3% since June of 2023. Most of that time, Joe Biden was the president of the United States. More recently, it's been Trump. But Trump has not brought prices down. He has not reduced inflation. He hasn't done any of it. And speaking of prices, when Donald Trump's lies on inflation don't work, he goes to prices specifically. Take a look.
Bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the...
Now, we all understand that if inflation is greater than 0, prices are going up. If inflation's 1%, prices are going up, but not that fast. If inflation's 3%, prices are going up a little bit faster. If inflation's 5%, prices are going up faster. We have always, through this period of time during which Trump has said he is bringing prices down, had inflation, meaning prices are actually going up. The example I give is if you're driving on the highway at 80 miles an hour, you slow down to 60. Well, you've reduced your speed, but you are still getting closer to your destination. You are still moving forward. As long as the inflation number is positive, you are still seeing prices go up. Now, what has fallen going back to the beginning of Joe Biden's presidency is the inflation rate. It hit a COVID era high in 2021 rather, of 9.1%. And then it steadily declined to June of 2023 and has basically been relatively steady there. So Trump has not reduced prices. Trump was not handed the highest inflation in 48 years. The war on math continued during the speech, with Trump claiming that he is cutting drug prices by 600%, which is not mathematically possible. Take a look.
I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations which were taking advantage of our country for many decades to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward, and I used the threat of tariff.
Now, intuitively, many of you probably understand that prices cannot fall more than 100% without becoming negative, without it being that they give you something when you make a purchase, which is not really making a purchase anymore if you're getting money for it. This is not an economic achievement. This is not a pharmaceutical achievement. This is a math error that Trump is repeating after and after and after again, time and time again. Another economic claim that Trump made has to do with taxes on Social Security. Take a look.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
So that is not in the bill. Trump keeps repeating, we've done no tax on Social Security for anybody. Of course, the people receiving Social Security are disproportionately seniors. That is not, there is simply no provision in the bill that Republicans passed that eliminates Social Security taxes. It's a talking point. It is not policy. Now, just because I'm interested in being more full in my explanations, it is already true that Social Security benefits are taxed based on your income level. And there are lots of people who might pay very little income tax on Social Security benefits, because of their tax bracket. But that has nothing to do with Trump. It has nothing to do with 2025 legislation. It has nothing to do with no tax on Social Security that Donald Trump claims is in the bill, but really is not. And then finally, and this is maybe the most hyperbolic and pathetic, and it is both, what's interesting about this one is it's both maybe more plausible because it's a little bit hazier in terms of what it means, but also impossible when you understand the numbers. Donald Trump talking about the trillions in investment he has secured.
I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs.
Now, I've already explained this to you. When Trump goes to the Middle East, this is one of Trump's favorite ruses. When Trump goes to the Middle East like he did a few months ago, and some dignitary from Qatar or wherever says, they say, we might be interested in a $1 trillion investment. What they're saying is, over the next 2, 5, 10 years, if you bring us relevant and interesting investment opportunities, we would be potentially willing to put this amount of money into these projects over a period of time. So imagine someone goes, we would do $1 trillion over 10 years. Trump gets on the plane and says, I just got $1 trillion. He's acting like they've got the cash in the belly of the plane, when what he has is a totally non-binding theoretical commitment, not a real commitment, of maybe $100 billion a year over 10 years, if Trump gives them the investment opportunities, which, by the way, it's been months since that trip and none of that has materialized. So when Trump talks about, I got $18 trillion, he is, first of all, he's exaggerating the number, but he's taking, Emirates said 600 billion and Saudi said 1.1 trillion. I'm making these numbers up. And even though they said theoretical, over 10 years, maybe, Trump goes, they just gave me 18 trillion bucks. I don't know that at this point anyone is falling for that one, except then I watched some of the cable news shows, and it seems that many of the panelists indeed have fallen for it. So now you know the truth of economic lie after lie after lie. Are these useful? Are these explainers useful? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Check out another one of our videos and make sure to subscribe so YouTube keeps our content in your feed. And if you prefer audio, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple.